Hey guys, Doug here from 2 Plus Stuff, and I was recently asked about my opinions on the General's Handbook, specifically about the 3 rules of ones and how it affects summoning. Now, if you don't know, I am a death enthusiast. I love death armies. I used to play High Elves in 8th edition, and then I had I was kind of growing over time, like through random trades or, something was on sale, a Vampire Counts army. So when Age of Sigmar launched and they had the collective, death of Tomb Kings and with that army, I was so excited, especially at the smaller skirmish size. It turns out that that small force I had been rounding up, which was maybe a quarter of an army in 8th edition, now is a full-fledged army in Age of Sigmar. But it was a little rough before the General's Handbook came out, and I've loved this game for a year. But it was rough because I really had to hold my hand, reserve my hand back, so that my opponent would have fun. I could slam spells at him, I could summon massive forces. So if I wanted to have fun, I really had to reserve myself. That's something that I'm okay with. It's more important for my satisfaction to play against someone having fun than win the game. And I've said that multiple times. I'll play a guy and I'll look across the table and I'll go, hey, having fun? If he says no, I said, okay, let's get a beer. Go hang out. Don't worry about this. This is nothing. This is fun. If you're not having fun, you shouldn't play the game. And then the General's Handbook came out, and I'm very excited about it. I'm not going to do a full review of it. It's been done to death. Everyone and their mother has an opinion about it. But the one specific thing that I was asked quite a bit, because watchers know that I play death, was specifically the rule of ones in regards to summoning. Now, here's the thing about summoning. It makes this guy kind of awful. Here's what I mean by that. Nagash is a beast in the game. He personally can dish out immense amounts of damage. It's no joke. He costs the most as far as models I know of right now. I think he ranks in at 900 points, which is unbelievable. But I think he's worth it. I do. Here's the problem, and it's with the wording of the rule. So the wording is, a spell can only be attempted once per turn. Okay, this means you can attempt 1 Arcane Bolt, 1 Mystic Shield, 1 Summon Zombies, 1 Summon Skeletons, things like that. The word that I don't like in that is attempt. Because what you're telling me is, if I fail, it doesn't matter. Nobody else can even try. The problem is, here's the dichotomy I get. This guy is the best at spellcasting in the game. He's amazing. He gets like a +5, it's ridiculous. It's pretty phenomenal. He can cast 8 spells, and if the word attempt is in there, why would I ever take anyone but him? Problem is, he costs 900 points, so I literally cannot play him with the army construction things in a force that is 1,000 points. In a 1,000 point game, he cannot exist because there's no battle line units to make the 2 necessary for 1,000. Or at least under 1,000 points. So 2,000 minimum, he's half the list then. And that means I have a dude with 2 spells who can cast 8. He has 2 spells of his own, and then there's Arcane Bolt, Mystic Shields. That's 4 spells out of 8. But if he does them, nobody else can even try. Now the other thing is that any Necromancer you bring, he can cast their spells. But that means they can't. So you're including models with him strictly for the sake of having the spell available to Nagash, which is okay, and some people are okay with that. My thing is, I want a reason to make Nagash just as equally good an option as 2, 3 Necromancers, because that's what Death does. They like Necromancers. And I just don't feel like it's there. I feel like the word attempt means I would love to be able to attempt to cast Arcane Bolt with a Necromancer, and if it doesn't work, then have Nagash be like, get the hell out of my way, let's do this, because that's what he would do. Otherwise, I just feel like there's either no reason to take anyone else but Nagash, or you could take everyone else but Nagash, because he doesn't play well with others because of the way that he is so much better than everyone else, but then also steals their ability so they can't even shine themselves. So the attempt is the word that I don't really like. As far as being able to only cast 1 spell per turn, I think that that's great. If it was a successful cast, I'd be all about it. Right now, I'm kind of like 90% on board. It just does some wonky things with list building. I feel like it hurts the 2,000 point game level, which seems to be where people are going. Just because of the number of wizards you can take versus how many spells you could theoretically cast, things like that. That being said, this really only affects the same way for Death and Lizardmen and Demons, essentially, because so many of our pieces, they want to come to the board through casting. So it does kind of hamper those things, and I'm okay. Like I said, I'll be the first one to bite the bullet and say, all right, well, it was wrong. People weren't having fun. I am totally happy to bite the bullet, nerf my army, and then, you know, have a better game with people, have more fun, let people know that like I'm not upset about it at all. I'm not a fan of the wording, like I said, but I think it is a good rule, and it's a healthy for the game to be able to say, a lot of people have said that summoning is essentially deep strike now, which is just, it's more about placement than it is about generating troops. And I like that, actually. If you look at the scenarios, the 6 they give you in the rule book, they're all about being at the right place at the right time. And so being able to throw 20 zombies 18 inches away is pretty darn good. It's really good. So people complain about it, and I don't see it. Sure, you can't spam. Okay. You know, sure, you can't raise whole armies. Like, well, that's a thematic concept of like raising armies, and you should be playing narrative where you and your opponent agree on a different rule. If you're playing matched play, no, man, that placement, that means everything. That's everything. Because you know that zombies are going to bring D6 back every turn, no matter their unit size, things like that. So I'm, to put it really simply, I'm very excited that I feel like I have a rule set that takes the edge off me having to stay my hand. So now I can play as hard as I can. It seems to make non-death or just summoning factions or magically heavy factions seem happy, and I'm happy for them. It kind of swings the pendulum hard about, do I take the guy who can always cast and will almost always succeed, or do I take a bunch of guys which will be more thematic and cheaper and frankly spread the load everywhere, but if they fail, that's it. That just doesn't happen. So I feel like they kind of swung the pendulum a little hard. They did buff it a little back up with the alliance abilities, because the one for Death is phenomenal. It's a 6-up, what used to be a ward save, and you can't beat that. All the other ones I feel kind of fall short, except for maybe the destruction one with speed. But I'm very happy, and I'm very satisfied with it. I think it's a great addition to the game, as well as, like I said, taking the edge off of me as the player. So anyway, those are my thoughts about the rule of 1 for summoning. If you have any other questions that you just want opinions on from a Death player, it's really the only faction that I know very well, shoot them down in the comments below. You can also message me, and we'll get to them as fast as I can. Thank you so much. Happy wargaming.